Hello and welcome back to DSMP Reforged, cutting down trees and yapping. Before I do anything, I should, empty my inventory, but anyways. Which means I need to go back home because all my stuff is full. And with all my stuff, I mean my, what is it? Am I even going in the right direction? I am, okay. With all my stuff, I mean my inventory and my sugar boxes. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna hopefully get, like, at least this part done. I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I mean, this is the progress I made last time, and we'll see how far I get while I yap about stuff in a second. Because I don't want to start talking about that stuff until God, I forgot this does that. Need to hold something in my hand. Yeah, what was I saying? Puppy. I have a bone. Would you like to be my friend? No, okay, well, bummer. What I was trying to say was lag. I'm gonna start yapping as soon as I get back to chopping trees, so you get to watch me walk up my very badly made hill, so I can destroy this fence and walk back in, because I still haven't made a door. God damn it. Yeah, I guess you also get to see my storage from the inside. Ow. Which is honestly a place I can't really light up. God, there's so many animals. I need to, oops, lag. Need to do something about the amount of animals that is in here. Because all of those yellow dots are animals, and I need to move some of these. Okay. I need to craft a shit ton of stuff out of all of the stuff that I got, which is a bunch of sugar boxes. And with a bunch, I mean like 2 of spruce stuff. I love it when I click once and it clicks again for some reason. So what's in here? Sticks. I can put that in here. This stuff can go all in here. And then I guess I'll get to crafting. This is going to be very boring, so I'll probably be back once I crafted a bunch of stuff. I don't even know what I'm gonna craft yet, but we'll see. This. Okay, I have crafted a shit ton of doors that I will never use, and buttons and stuff, because, why not? I honestly don't even remember if spruce doors are even on this level. This is going to be fun if they're not. So this is not the stuff I need. Prismarine. Wait, no, doors are on this level. They're just on the other side, I think. I think they're over here. Also, I desperately need to finish my netherite beacon project. Do I have pressure plates? I have trapdoors. Copper, bamboo, dark oak. I have spruce, which I already have a bunch from. Okay, I need to be careful how many I make. I would also like to know how many I actually still need, so, I don't accidentally make too much. Spruce. Yeah, well, productive. And buttons. Oak, spruce. I need to stop doing that. Spruce. Okay, you know what? I think out of all of the rest, I'm gonna make as many spruce buttons as I can. Just because, I can. And also because I feel like that is the simplest, thing to fill up. I mean, I plan to fill up all of these chests, which is going to take forever, and I'm definitely not gonna go insane or something. Okay, so what I need is 1, 2, 3, 4. I know this is 54 spaces. I know a double chest is 54 spaces big, which means minus 17. That's, oh god. I'm gonna go get my... I'm so bad at math. How did I pass this? Minus 17. Then 37 stacks is what I need. Which, not a lot at all. Yeah, I'm not concerned about the amount of stacks I need. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 stacks, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can make another one. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, no, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Right? $25, $26, $27, $28, $29, $30, $31, $32, $33, $34, $35, $36, and before I continue, it should leave me with one open space. I'm not even doing it this way. I can just do this. Yep, and there we go. Spruce buttons all filled up. Now for the rest of the spruce stuff, which, you know, with all of these chests shouldn't be too much. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm also done with doors, and I got one that I don't need, so, yeah, I don't know what to do with that, so I need a trash hole. Next thing I could do is trapdoors. Trapdoors. Spruce trapdoors. There we go. How many trapdoors do I have? I have almost 9 stacks. Almost 18 stacks, I mean. This is going to take forever. Yeah, there's really not much more than this to it. I just do this whenever I, like, have free time, I guess. Right, I did want to get to yapping at some point, though, so, you know, I gotta get finished eventually. Oh, whatever. Don't know why I even did this in the first place. No, I misclicked. I meant to click this. Go away. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's almost finished. All's well. Yet there's really not much to this. I don't talk a lot if I don't know what I want to talk about, so, you know. Oh well, even if I know what I want to talk about, I talk a lot of nonsense, as very obviously shown by the fact that I am currently talking a shit ton of nonsense. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I need 9, 10, 11, 12 stacks. So that was incorrect. So that gives me 2, 4, 6. So I'm at half the amount of stacks I need. This is incorrect. Oh, that's fun. But the pressure plates also go somewhere. Pressure plates. There we go. Spruce. Do I still have space with the buttons, or did I fill that entirely? Stone. That means I went too far. I went too far in the wrong direction. Ah, okay. So 2 out of like 17 million things are done, I guess. I should go to... Ah, damn it. Whatever. I'll fix that some other time. I should go to the gold farm. See if I can get my axe fixed. I don't know why we just... whatever. I hope there's no angry piglins. It died because of Thorn's rip. Oh yeah, right. I also killed the one that's up there once. It was an accident, I swear. Good, get all the piglins angry at me. Unless there's piglins behind me. Which would be bad. But it doesn't seem like it, so, repairing my pick we could do. I'll be back once I'm actually ready to start my fucking yap fest. Jesus. I have returned, in case you can't see. It's repaired. Also, this is garbage. No, I actually meant it this time. This is actually garbage. I don't need it. I have enough gold food. I mean, I don't, technically, because I only have like 15 in my inventory. But, you know, keeps my saturation going, so whatever. It's not like I need all that much food. Unless, of course, I take a shit ton of fall damage while running down my very badly constructed hill. Oh. Alright, this is still full of stuff. Whatever. Not like it matters. I'll put my shulker boxes down somewhere. Over there. Probably if the red dots are still there, somewhere there. Oh, they are. I like that stuff doesn't despawn when you're not near it. I'm probably actually not gonna put them down at all. I'm just gonna do this. Damn it, I should have. Whatever. Hell yeah. You know, the fact that it's freaking snowing now is very much against what I wish, but you know, whatever. So, yeah, Sash, right? I wanted to talk about my life. What it was like growing up and stuff. So, I have it structured and stuff, because, you know, last time I tried talking about this, it was very unstructured and not good at all. So, from, like, what I can remember is that, I don't really remember a lot of my childhood, which, you know, I hear is a common trauma response, so yay, good for me, I guess. My brain be protecting my fragile little mind, I guess. But, yeah. The things I do remember have, like, one constant theme in them, which is violence and anger and struggle to managing that. I have had anger issues for like most of my life, if not all of it. Like, the parts I do remember definitely were riddled with chlamydia. No, I'm not chuckles. Were riddled with anger issues, problems controlling my anger, problems not letting my anger control me, all that kind of stuff. So obviously, that has had to have come from somewhere, right? Couldn't have just been like, oh, this random ass child is extremely dangerous. I mean, probably, because that's how sociopaths and things. Honestly, I don't know what. Honestly, I shouldn't be talking about being sociopaths and stuff like that, because I don't know shit about it, because I'm not a doctor. But yeah. Basically, all my life, I've known anger as the like first emotion that I got to know. Basically. You won't get me, although you did scare the shit out of me for a second. All I saw was green, and I thought Herobrine has been added. For some reason. I don't know why that is the first place my brain goes to. So many mobs. I refuse to sleep, though. Sleeping means admitting defeat. I will never. Well, I should probably be careful about those mobs, actually. Anyways, like I said, anger is my basically first emotion. You know how in Inside Out, joy was the first emotion for Riley? I don't think I've had that. I think I've had anger. And it just feels like anger's never really left control. Oh, well, it used to feel like that. I did manage to start to control what I like to call my anger problem. But yeah, like I said, definitely anger issues and stuff like that plaguing me my whole life, basically. Which, kind of sucks when you're just a kid and you don't know what's happening. Especially if the one you got it from doesn't believe in things like therapy or some of the problems that you most definitely have, because up to back in my day, that didn't exist. And it's not that it didn't exist in his day, he just didn't know anyone who was afflicted by that, and therefore has no experience to talk about on his own. Which is, fine, I guess, if he wouldn't have such a dumb fucking thought process behind it, if he has a thought process at all, which honestly at this point I quite heavily doubt. Of course, who could I be talking about if not my father for the anger issues? Thanks for that, by the way. He's never gonna see this because he doesn't speak English and therefore would never watch something that he doesn't understand, because that's the kind of man that he is. So yeah, my father was an aggressive man, loud, not really like one to hit, although he did do that once for reasons, because my brother and I were being dumb children, so we thought setting a carton on fire would be a smart idea. Obviously it was not. Do not do that. You were being stupid if you do that, and you shouldn't. Whatever, I'm just getting this tree. Anyways, anger, father, hitting. He, like I said, rarely ever hit us, only really hit the one time when my brother and I were playing with fire like absolute fucking morons. And him and I, my father and I don't know, we've never really been close, and ever since I figured some stuff out about myself, I doubt that it would ever happen, because, quite frankly, he's how the fuck do you generate on sand? He's not the type of person I would consider being around if he wasn't my father. Yeah, like I said, he was an aggressive man, for sure. Loud, quick to outbursts if things didn't go his way, which, you know, is funny because he seems to be very much against that when it happens to me, but, you know, that's what people like him do, I guess. If, by the way, when I say us, I usually mean my brother and me. Sometimes I also mean my mom, but I'll specify when I do that, so no one gets confused. Like I said, really hit us. When he did get angry, he did get physical, in the sense of not hitting us, but 5 damn. He would like shake us and stuff like that, and grab us hard, leaving bruises and everything. I left my fucking torches. Oh my god, I am going to cry. I hate it here. It's your fault. Your fucking fault. Ugh, god damn it. Ugh, whatever. Yeah, like I said, he would shake us and stuff like that. Just generally being not a good person, if you think about it. Like, who shakes their, like, 10-year-old kid, screaming at them, being loud at them? Like, that's not gonna traumatize them or something. I don't know. I don't know what his thought process was, quite frankly, for any of these things. I don't know if he had a thought process most of the time. But yeah, like I said, only real time he hit us was when we went and played around with, what are they again? Matches, and lit the fucking thing on fire, the carton. Because honestly, I can understand that one time. Not the hitting part, but the need to, like, discipline your children when they're being stupid. Well, like, there could have been a better way, I fear. Anyways. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why the fuck does taking damage scare me this much? It's not even a horror mod. I'm too peeled on horror mods, I fear. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I went ahead and got a couple of torches. Just a couple. And also had to collect myself for a sec, cause, you know, I got genuinely spooked by that for some reason, and I fear I needed to take a break from, like, Minecraft and whatnot. Anyways, back to my fucking story. Where was I? He was loud, aggressive, and physical, shaking and grabbing us when he was angry. It got to a point where we had to leave the house for a few nights because he was just too mad and would have genuinely hurt us if we stayed. This time that we includes my mother. Eventually, there were social workers, which, you know, we as children didn't know. They came, like, we didn't know that there were social workers. They came to us, took us out for the day, and asked us questions. And we, you know, thinking this was just, I don't know, some play date with people we've never met for some reason, just answered the questions truthfully. And didn't really... We didn't see a problem with it because, you know, there shouldn't have been a problem with it. But unfortunately there was. the problem was that these, like I said, people were social workers. It's not a problem that they took us away. I'm not saying that. My parents weren't perfect, so the fact that we did get taken away was probably for the best. Not that I can say much about that, but the circumstances and everything was absolutely horrendous. Back to the topic. Like I said, eventually there were social workers, CPS, which I didn't know at the time, and they came to ask us questions and, like, recorded the answers, wrote them down, whatever. I don't remember. I was like 6 or 5. I don't remember that much back then. Yeah, and at some point, after all the questions they wanted to ask had been asked, they just... My parents, I vividly remember my parents getting a letter and being confused because they seemed like emotional about the letter, and I was like, what's so bad that someone would put in a letter that would make my parents that emotional? And yeah, well, turns out that was the letter determining that we weren't living in a safe environment and we'd have to be taken away. So that was fun to never figure out until I was like older. But why would children need to know anything about what's going on in their lives? They're just children. They're just like young. They don't understand that stuff yet, right? I mean, right? Yeah, but once the thing with that is, not only did they determine that they would take us away, but they also twisted our answers. Like, for example, they one time asked me if I was getting breakfast, and I said I skip breakfast because then my mom buys me something from the nearby bakery, which I prefer because I like the stuff from the nearby bakery. And they twisted that answer into, they aren't getting any breakfast. There's not enough food in the house. They don't get food when they're hungry. Well, my brother, one time when a social worker was over, my brother mentioned to my mom that he was hungry, and she said, make yourself some toast. We are going shopping soon when your father comes home. And the social worker made that into, oh, they have to provide for themselves, they have to make their own food and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting here like, that is just not what happened. You are spinning that into something that it is not, and you are doing that very much on purpose. And I don't know if they get like a kick out of getting children taken away from their homes or whatever, but it very much felt that way once I grew up and realized I never answered I wasn't getting any food. I answered that I purposefully don't eat sometimes because that means Mama is gonna get me something from the bakery that I like, usually like something with pudding in it, and I really liked pudding at the time, especially those like pudding filled pretzels, but it's just basically just like a sweet pretzel. I don't know. But oh, I never knew there was a cave here. The whole getting visited stuff ended when I was 8, and which was when the rest began, which is me being forcibly moved into a residential home, which, Google technically classifies those as for the elderly or people who can't take care of themselves, which is technically true, but this one is these ones that I'm talking about are specifically for children. So, specifically for children who get taken away by their parents and have their parents' custody rights taken away, which you'd think they'd come like carefully and not to make a scene or whatever, and yeah, they did not come carefully. They did not come like prepared to not make a scene. They came prepared to make a scene, be obnoxious and loud and stuff like that. Genuinely scared the shit. Oh, God damn it! Genuinely scared the shit out of me. Which, you know, you probably shouldn't do when you're like talking to a kid, I guess. But you know, whatever floats your boat, I guess. Considering that they literally, I don't want to tell them how to do their job, but maybe next time there's a child that is already confused and sad and hurt and doesn't understand why mommy and papa are letting them be taken away, maybe don't add the fucking police with either guns or tasers drawn and ready to shoot because you think that the father is gonna get aggressive, which, you know, valid, but yeah, there could have been a better way to handle that situation, actually, I pretty much believe at this point, because tell me why you had to traumatize a literal child in order to, you know, get what you need, which is the child out of the home. So, that day, my brother and I, we drove in a police car to our first and worst residential home, in my case the worst. There was 8 kids in that residential home, which is, you know, too many kids, and not all of them were kids as well. Like, that's also a thing, not all of them were kids. There were like 2 adults who couldn't live alone because they were disabled. Well, one of them was disabled, the other was an albino who also couldn't live alone because of it. And, I mean, valid for them to stay there, as long as it works for them, I guess. And the other guy had, like, a thing with his arm. His arm didn't work correctly, I think because of a seizure, because he had epilepsy. I might be wrong about that, though, so if he ever hears this, don't quote me on that. First my brother and I, like, shared a room, which, you know, not really the greatest thing to share a room with your brother, who you don't get along with and fight with all the time. And we blamed each other for, you know, getting taken away and everything, so that was fun as well. I'm gonna go to my bed and put my the saplings away. If I am going towards my bed, I don't remember. Oh no, I am. Right, I am. It's over there. I should move that, actually. It's whatever. I don't care. Where was I? Was my bed, my brother's bed, my brother and I sleeping in the same room, right? Eventually, though, because of all the fights we were having, the workers said this won't work and separated us. I didn't break the bed, okay. And they separated us, and I had to sleep in my own room, and he had to sleep in his own room. Whatever. Like I said, we were 8 kids, and definitely not enough workers for 8 kids. Unfortunately. That is just how it was. We didn't have enough workers for the kids who were already there, and you know, that was not what I meant to do. I don't need these many sticks. Nobody needs that many sticks. Okay, well, at least now I have space again. Okay, back. We had like 2 or 3 workers a day for a day there, and that was just not enough workers for a bunch of kids. Especially a couple of them were teenagers, not even kids. But, like, yeah. I don't know what they were thinking, just having 2 people there at all times. Like, that was not smart. You would have known that if you would have done any fucking research on the topic you were supposed to, be an expert in, which is childcare. Because you'd think that people who learned that should know what not to do, right? For example, putting different age groups together like that, like putting teenagers and 8-year-olds with adults in the same house and let them live there together, and mixing boys and girls, all bad decisions. But that's not what I'm here for to talk about. I didn't really stay all that long in that house, mainly because, unfortunately, I was getting bullied. And eventually, because they said I moved because I was the youngest, but I know it's because I was aggressive because, blame myself for getting taken away from my parents, blame my brother for getting taken away from our parents, stuff like that. And it's funny because in those younger years, you never think to blame the people who are actually to blame, which are your parents. You blame yourself, and that is heartbreaking if you think about it. You blame yourself for something that you couldn't have seen coming. How was I supposed to know that, like, my parents would be not great parents, that they would be abusive and whatnot? Either way, there is Jesus. Okay, I need to scroll down on my fucking little list that I made. I kind of forgot about that for a sec and just somehow kept rambling on chronologically. There is one thing that home was cool for because it had a Wii. And I remember specifically at that time being obsessed with the Wii and wanting to play every day. But you can't because you're not allowed to be on electronics for most of the day. Because, you're 8 and you don't really have rights in that house. I mean, I did have rights, but, I wasn't allowed to play Wii a lot. Also, the TV was off a lot of the times. They, literally just wouldn't turn it on. Or at least not for the daytimes. And you were only allowed to watch TV in the evenings, which I thought was a stupid rule. But, seeing kids nowadays, maybe it was a smart rule that I wasn't allowed to watch all that much TV. But yeah, I didn't live there long, like I said. I lived there for about a year before I was forced to move into my second residential home. I immediately didn't like any of the people who were there, whether that be the children or the adults. In that case, I didn't like any of them. I desperately wanted to go back to my parents at that point because genuinely I was just so fed up with meeting new people and having to get accustomed to new people and whatnot. And they also had a weird rule about plushies that I remembered. You're not allowed to have more than 3 plushies in your bed. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not giving you any of mine because fuck you guys, that's why. I need all of these. Because I was very dependent on my things because my things never felt like my things. It always felt like I had to share everything. Which, was fucking awful, which is probably why I'm very fucking selfish nowadays. But anyways, in my first week of actual time living there and having to go to school and everything, I was like, I'm not going to school, fuck you guys. I didn't say it like that, but if I would have known curse words back then, I probably would have, because I was not a good kid, in case you haven't noticed. But yeah, I refused to go to school, I refused to leave my room, and they had to literally drag me out. And also another bad thing that was happening was like, okay, not really bad, but something that I at the time considered bad is I had to share a room with another girl because we were 6 kids with 3 rooms, and yeah, that was great. It's still boys and girls mixed, but the age gap was less significant this time. There was an age gap of 2 years between everybody. There was at the time I moved there, I was 9, so there was another 9-year-old. There were 2 7-year-olds and 2 11-year-olds. So that was fun. And yeah, I stayed there for about 5 years. Still constantly fighting, even with the social workers, I guess. Oh, well, I don't want to call them social workers. Even with the people who worked there, I was constantly fighting, constantly hating everything, I guess, because, you know, I technically would have needed therapy back then. I still do. But yeah, that was basically my life back then. Fighting with them, not wanting to do anything, not wanting to go to school, not literally just not wanting to do anything, really. But obviously I did go to school. I have graduated school actually, and you know, I have a job and stuff. But yeah, God, oh God, 2 of the workers who, you know, worked there obviously lived in the same damn house as us, which meant that we couldn't use the space they were occupying because, you know, they lived there, which was confusing to me. Like, why would you live with the kids that you work with? Who would do that? Which, you know, clearly they shouldn't have done, because they were quite upset at us kids for being there partially, which I never quite got. Ugh, whatever. It doesn't really matter. They were also, you know, sharing a finite space with people. Again, not great. Especially not for someone who didn't have to do that before. So that was absolutely hilarious. Not. What else do I have written down for this? We were 4 girls and 2 boys, and as girls, which I used to identify as, not anymore, but used to, had to switch rooms every now and again to figure out who would be the ideal pair of roommates, which, spoiler alert, nobody was. I didn't friggin' fit into a room with any of them. And it was around this time where I realized how fast, like, the workers and everything would switch. Like, the people who worked there would, like, come and then go and come and go, and people would move in and move out shortly afterwards. Like, I never really got used to people. And I realized quickly that forming emotional bonds with people who you'll never see again and never talk to again because you don't have any means of communication outside of regular conversations is just, it's not really worth it. So I didn't keep in touch with any of them. I still don't. Yeah, that's fun, I guess. Still having problems forming actual deep connections with people because of stuff that happened in my childhood is hilarious. I love that for myself. I don't know why I'm pretending, honestly. But yeah, I struggled to form connections. I struggled to form friendships. I struggled with a lot of kind of ships, which, you know, funny, but not funny, funny, very, very sad. The 2 workers who lived in the house there with us were also quite the I don't want to call them aggressive because technically they weren't, but they also weren't not aggressive. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make a lot of sense, but you know, it will at some point. And even if it doesn't, what do I care? Where's the wood? Okay, apparently there's wood over here somewhere. I don't see it. Well, whatever. Chop down one of those trees or two of those trees for nothing. Cool. I love that. Yeah. I was talking about the two that were technically, they were like handsy, I guess, not in a weird way, more in the I'll grab you and drag you to your room kind of way, which, you know, also not a good thing to do to a child that is like half your size. So they didn't really know their strength, and therefore, you know, oftentimes left us with bruises. What? Oftentimes left us with bruises that, you know, at least it left me with bruises. I don't know if that just means that my skin is weak or whatever, but yeah, I bruised fast back then. I still do sometimes when I like realize, oh wait, I've hit my leg, and oh damn, there's already a bruise. Like whenever we made them angry, they'd get handsy, and like I said, not in a weird way. Handsy in the type of way where someone is angry and grabs you and drags you to your room or whatever. And one of them would really hold a grudge whenever she was angry, and her husband didn't. To be fair, he also, you know, expected you to apologize, which I guess is valid, unless you didn't really do anything to deserve to have them angry at you, but you know, whatever. Most of the time they both were, I don't know, I feel as though half of the things they did were incredibly unreasonable, still to this day. For example, grabbing people, like children, hello, if you consider that is weird, and you shouldn't do that. But yeah, after 5 years of constant bickering, constant, stress and fights and everything with just about everybody on that in that goddamn house, I also got moved away from there, which, you know, great, another move, I guess. Yay, it's beginning to look a lot like that is a shit ton of fucking moves. And I mean, it's not like I particularly cared for anybody in those houses. Why did I do that? I have too much of this stuff. Really, I filled all of these with torches for no goddamn reason. I will be right back again. Hopefully I've picked up everything by then. Jesus. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Like I said, I stayed in that particular home for 5 years, filled with pain and shit and everything. Oh, look, monsters. Yeah, it wasn't great. So, from ages 14 to 18, I went to my third and last residential home, which also wasn't great. God, I still have too many fucking... Give me a second. I need to place down a bunch of torches real quick. Yeah, but the third and final residential home wasn't all that great either, to be honest. Funnily enough, I moved there after like a year of not knowing what was going to happen with me and where I would move and, you know, stuff like that. So that was fun. That was a fun experience for little Chris. And in that residential home, as soon as I like moved in, we went on vacation, which, yay. I immediately realized I would also not fit in here, so I mainly kept to myself, because I was like, I don't want to be friends with any of you. I don't know how to build friendships, so yeah, I pretended like I was friends with them, I guess, but I wasn't really. It's not like I thought that it matters anyways. because, you know, I would move out sooner than any of these people because I was 14 and all of them were younger than me, which, you know, yay, I was the oldest for once. Which means I got exemptions from the rules, like a badass. But, like, in all realness, it's not that great to be the oldest kid, because then also you have responsibilities, and to be fair, my responsibilities mainly were like, oh, do this, do that, which doesn't technically mean anything. I shouldn't have fallen down here, whoopsies. Also, why did I not take fall damage? Might have been lag, whatever. But yeah, there wasn't really anything I was saying, but you know, whatever. I'm somewhat like that. Also, I'm getting rid of so many stacks right now because I need space. The first week in that residential home, I just, you know, like I said, we went on a vacation. I realized immediately I kind of don't want any friendships or whatever to come out of this, because I feel like those are useless and don't benefit me at all. So I didn't form any friendships. Not that I could think of, at least. And I just lived my life alone in there. And around when I was 15, I kind of developed a crush on at the time, what I thought was my best friend. Which, you know, broke our friendship apart, and I ruined everything in that point. Which got me super upset, because, you know, he was like the one friend I had in my class, because all of my other friendships had fallen apart before that. So, yay. I broke my friendship, and nothing can ever repair that. Yay. And then I realized, like, I don't want any friends in this class. I don't like the people from my class, because, I don't know, I don't like the way they are. I don't like the way they behave. I don't like the way they think. So, I stopped trying to be friends with anyone in my class. I was friendly with them. Friendly enough to say hi or whatever on the friggin' in the school and in class and whatnot, but I never really invited any of them over to my house or whatever. And I never really spoke to any of them outside of classes, outside what was necessary. And at that point, I basically got adopted by this group of bitches. Unfortunately, it's the only way I can describe them, because that's what they were. And we sat together after a certain class, which one I forgot. But yeah, we sat together after every class that we had together and just talked, and from that came the one friendship that I still have to this day, and that I still believe is an actual friendship and not just whatever the fuck my friendship was. Whatever the fuck my, in quotes, friendships were, I mean. But yeah, I still have her to this day, and other than that, I don't really have anyone. In real life, at least. I mean, I do have online friends, but, you know, unfortunately, I can't just go see them whenever I want. I can't just go see her either. Like, my best friend, my real best friend. I can't go see her either, because, you know, she has a job, I have a job, so, you know, we're kind of busy. But that doesn't really matter. Sometimes we don't text each other for, like, literally months, and it'll be fine. At some point, one of us will just go, hey, you want to meet up? Hey, you got time to meet up? And we'll meet up and talk like we haven't been a minute apart. It's refreshing having that kind of friendship, actually. You know, the kind where you can actually talk to your friend and not feel like you were just offering therapy services, which a lot of my ex-friends seem to think I was, like a free therapy service for some reason. I mean, I don't mind helping my friends, but the whole turning me into a therapist for them was kind of weird. Yeah, that's basically my life until I turn 18, and probably the reason why I'm so screwed today. So I don't think I got a lot of progress done for the tree stuff, but you know, we'll check my what's it called? We'll check the map in a minute. I want to get like a couple more trees before I check the map. Although honestly, it does look like a lot of progress has been made, which is good, because you know, this is the only time I can actually play, because work. And work has me so damn exhausted. Because customers are gross. And hard to deal with. Unfortunately. Okay, I'm not going to get all of those. All of those, I mean the like 1.5 stacks of wood that would be missing if I were to get it, I guess. Anyways, away with that, and we will log off in a minute right here. Let's look at my map. So earlier I had this entire, like, this was still had to be done, all of this. So now basically I did get it. I got it good. Speech is very, very hard. Why is that? But yeah, that's not too bad actually. Oh my god, but I need to stretch my legs, because I'm starting to feel my legs get tired. Hey look, the regular planes. Oh, there's holes in my map. Just funny, it's somewhere here. Yeah, there's my another portal. I have a portal here that's for an achievement. The achievement where you put a ghast in the overworld and then kill it. And that's for the Strider achievement where you have to ride a Strider for 50 blocks in the overworld. Then of course there's somewhere here is my tower. Somewhere here is the tower where you jump down into a bedrock level from the top of the world, which is another achievement. There was also a villager up there, but I think I killed that one. Whoopsies. Anyways, yeah, this is basically the progress I've done today. I don't know if any of what I said earlier was coherent enough for anyone to understand, but yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Other than that, if you've liked this video for whatever reason, hit like, subscribe if you want to see videos like this or less yappy videos about, you know, Minecraft or whatever. Other than that, ring the bell to never miss an upload, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.